Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, please leave a 5-star review. For example, here's a really great review from Strap 'em On Gordon. This is from the Lisa Ann episode. This was such a great talk. 2 intelligent women with an in-depth conversation. Keep up the great work, Chrissie. I like that he spelled my name with a Y, even though the spelling of my name is in the very podcast title. But I'm not here to nitpick. I appreciate all the reviews. So thank you so much, Strap 'em On Gordon. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. Cushy Dreams is the go-to spot for anything CBD related. They specialize in very high quality CBD products. They do both like joints and like bud, basically, if you are the type of person to like put it into a thing and smoke it. I personally really like the joints because I just have a couple of pulls and within 5 to 10 minutes, I feel much calmer and better, and it helps me go about my day. It tastes great, looks, feels, smells just like high quality marijuana, but you're not going to get high. You're not going to go out to lunch. You're not going to, spend your whole day. I don't know. Maybe I just have a really low tolerance for weed, but I would smoke with the comics all the time. I get super high and then I can't do anything with the rest of my day. Also, very good at helping me sleep. And if you've had an anxious last year, I think we all have, I think these products can really help you. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. It's cannabis that ships directly to you. It's legal in all 50 states. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. They take the artisan approach. Every run is in a small batch. It's 100% hand trimmed, not machine trimmed. I am just imagining machines trimming joints. I don't know if that's possible. They're constantly doing independent lab tests to show compliance and purity, all of which can be found on their website. It's posted all on their website here, cushydreams.com. Best of all, it's grown here in the USA. And they slow cure it for 2 to 4 weeks to guarantee maximum freshness and preserve flavor and cannabinoids. They have different indica sativa blends like relax, dream, energy, hustle, create, peace, energy. So whatever you want to do with your day, Cushy Dreams has your back. So go to cushydreams.com, Kushy dreams.com, and use promo code CMP to get 20% off each and every order. Quick shout out, the Domestic Terrorist Tour is continuing on. Lots of stand-up dates. Come see me in Wilmington, Delaware at the House of Laughs, April 23rd and 24th. Then I'm heading to Florida, April 30th to the Boca Black Box, then on to the Lake Park Black Box in Palm Beach, Florida, May 1st, May 2nd, Side Splitters in Tampa. Then May 9th, the Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City. And then if you're a Compound Media fan, Comedians of the Compound will be in Austin, Texas at the Big Laugh Comedy Club on May 14th and 15th. More dates, more details, links to everything is on my website, ChrissieMayr.com. So please go there for all your comedy show needs. So excited to have this guy on the podcast today. He's so many things. He's a producer. He's an internet specialist. He's a nerd. He's all the things. You may have seen him on Ladder with Crowder or Friday Night Tights. It's Quarter Black Garrett.
Hey, yo, what's going on? What's happening?
Going on? What's going on?
How's life?
Life is good. I've never seen somebody with buttons on their microphone.
Oh, thank you. These are my buttons. I'm gonna take it as a compliment.
You're a button guy.
I had a bunch of buttons left over from my car, so that whenever I was a teenager, I had a car where I just put a bunch of buttons on the ceiling, just like a shit ton.
That keeps the top from
it keeps it up.
Down.
And then whenever you try to sell the car, it falls down. But yeah, I just had a bunch of left, and I was like, oh, I can just kind of put them on here. So
you're like, no, I don't have a shitty car. These are just the pieces of flair.
Yeah.
I always drove. I could never understand these people that went to my high school. I grew up on Long Island. Everybody had a nice car. Everybody drove a Jetta or better to high school. And my dad, he wasn't like a mechanic, but he was like mechanic adjacent. Like he was buddies with all the mechanics, and he
could
always
like stand around the engine and be like,
yeah,
yeah, it looks like you got a problem there.
And he always had some friend with some car that he was giving to him or that he bought for $100. So that's what we all drove to high school, me and my brother and my sister. And so I was always used to driving something with quirks. And by quirks, I mean, it won't start.
Yeah, I still drive cars with quirks. So that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just called being real. And one time my sister was driving, God, I think this was the car that we affectionately referred to as the toaster. It was like a van. It was like this brown kind of unmarked van. I think it was like a Voyager, Plymouth Voyager. And she went to like just adjust the rearview mirror and it just came off in her hands.
That's when you know you have a real car. Shit falls off of it.
And then we were like, we need to get jobs, but
we need to do something, make some money somewhere.
Yeah. It's so funny because every time I look to like search your Twitter or like our messages, it's weird to type in like 1/4 for your name.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I just don't know anybody who calls themselves a fraction of anything.
I know, right? And see, it's a niche. I have my niche. I got it cut out, and you know, I've got my space. Nobody can come in here and cover my space.
Are you sick of people asking you like which quarter of you is black?
Oh my gosh, I know the quarter jokes just they get old because they're not. It's not even like I'm not offended. I don't care. Obviously, I was like, hey, I'm a quarter black. It's not a big deal. I thought it was a funny name.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And like after a while, it's like I get it. Okay, quarter, I get it. Like work on the jokes a little bit more. Be a little more original than, oh yeah, and then the other quarter.
It has a decent ring to it. Like I wouldn't. It doesn't.
It's like a quarterback, so you already have that like in your brain.
Exactly.
So it kind of keeps it going.
A quarterback. Oh right.
Yeah. See, it sounds like it.
See, like half German Chrissie doesn't sound. I think that would put people on edge. They would be like, "Oh God, he's."
See, the other half is German, and then I have a quarter of like some other mutt stuff. So hey, Germans together.
I love mutt stuff, especially outside of your drinks. How did you get involved? I mean, I want to talk about censorship because it's always been a problem, but worst. But it's the worst it's ever been right now. And I certainly did not see it coming for your show because I always just figured I never saw Louder with Crowder as being like all that extreme or all that edgy.
It's not super edgy. It's only edgy because we have this like society right now that is just so sensitive to everything. Like if this show came out in the early 2000s or in the 90s, it would be like mild. It would be a mild show. Nobody would bat an eye. But now that it's like 2020, it's ever since 2016, it's just like you can't say anything that is even close to offensive in any way, or else you're like super edge, you're fringe, crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, remember Mad TV? That was like truly edgy and so funny.
I love Mad TV. That was one of the best.
I miss it. I love so much the ladies' man character. Like he would get the questions and he would be giving advice to people and the question would be like, I am 200 pounds, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to recommend you stay away from any food or food products. The local supermarket might be trying to sell you. Yeah. I'm
going to cut that out.
And it was always
that's classic.
Like, we would just joke. Everybody in the house would joke about it. And I don't know. And it's like, was Trump like the catalyst that just made everybody, by everybody, I mean like that, I think he was the person that the left and the media decided like, okay, we're all just going to rally all of our hate towards this person and all the supporters.
It was kind of like, it was kind of building before that. I mean, you had like your at least in the entertainment industry, there was like your Ghostbusters 2016, and there was like woke stuff kind of, and SJWs were kind of coming up in that same kind of time.
Right.
And then Trump was just the catalyst, and everybody went, okay, let's attack this guy and anybody that is even close to that guy. And then they just ran with that for 4 years, and they it's almost like they don't know what to do. Now that Trump is not there, they're like, how do we like weave Trump into this in some
Oh,
way? Like,
absolutely. SNL's ratings have tanked so much
so bad.
since the inauguration, and since politics is like no longer a thing, I guess,
Right.
for them. Um, but
They've
it's
got
just
nobody to make fun of. Like they can't make fun of Trump because he's not there anymore, and they can't make fun of Biden because he's their guy. So even if they put him in something, he's always got to be kind of like a cool guy, or he's never like the real butt of the joke. So like
yeah.
they're shackled, and it's kind of sad to see.
It's like, did you see? This just came out. It was like Project Veritas. Like they had the main guy from CNN. It was like a combination. It was like a compilation video. Some of it was from like apparently a Tinder date, which I was
Really?
just like, yeah, and that's why I was.
It's
like,
that easy to get information? Wow.
Oh, when I saw this video, Garrett, I was like, I know for sure that these truths coming out are the direct result of either alcohol or cleavage, because that
Yeah, just lean forward. Like,
yeah.
Do you have any information on Donald Trump? Like,
No
how do you guys
man
see?
is so, but maybe there are, but clearly, like this man, whatever his name was, he just.
It looked like several. It was like several. They were like always at a bar. Like,
yeah, always
like you gotta know. You gotta know. You're in CNN. You know, like you can't just be talking to people like that about your secret dealings.
Yeah, sorry. It's like you now have the kind of job where you can't act like a normal person anymore. Like, yeah, that sucks. You're basically kind of like a congressperson at this point, and like, yeah, you can't be on Tinder anymore. I think you should be on like, I don't know, woke Tinder or something.
There's got to
like
be some
that.
kind of elite dating app you can be on. You just can't be on the regular pleb.
There was
dating apps.
There was the dating app that Amy Schumer met her husband on. I forget the name of it, but that's just like celebrities. Ugh, it's just so disgusting. Like imagine like that's who you're forced.
That's how you get. Oh.
Yeah. So you started to notice the censorship happening like generally in culture, right? Like 2016, we thought the worst it was going to get would be like, wow, what? They didn't need to remake Ghostbusters to be all female. Like it was this annoying trend of
the like campaign, the ad campaign was like it's all women now, and men are dumb and stuff, and like they really pushed it, and they seemed to like latch on to fans that were like, hey, maybe like why are you acting like this, and they go, you're a sexist, and it's like, whoa, like why are you, like we're just asking questions really, and then they just like. And it's only gotten worse over time, where they'll find any section of a fandom, like Ghostbusters fans or whatever, and if you ask questions, anything against what their current movies are, you get labeled sexist, racist, whatever they feel like doing that day.
Right. It can't ever be about, well, hey, like you're not really doing justice to these characters or the storyline, or like, yeah, this character would never do or say that. And but if you're strictly just staying in that lane, oh no, you'll be dragged into misogyny or racism, and like that's just sort of like the I don't know. Sometimes I'm sick of talking about it, but I think it's important to look at like, because I feel like we were all kind of bamboozled with it, and then before you know it, like the censorship is so cranked up, people are getting kicked off here and there. When did you first start to see like, okay, like this is starting to really be a concern on the show?
Definitely around YouTube adpocalypse. When was that? 2018? I want to say 2018 or 2019. I get all the years are all running together. But that year, whenever Vox, they came out with that Twitter storm of all of the supercuts of us making jokes on what was his name? Carlos Maza. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say his name. He's gonna come around.
Sometimes, yeah.
But yeah, and it was kind of shocking because it was just some person on Twitter able to get the attention of YouTube to shut us down. And it was very obvious that YouTube really didn't have any idea of what it wanted to do, because whenever it happened, YouTube like replied and was like, yeah, we're working on taking him down. And then people from our side were like, hey, don't censor people. What's happening? And then YouTube was like, okay, we're not going to completely take them off. We're going to just do this. And then it kind of went back and forth, and it's like they didn't know what they were doing. And then eventually we got demonetized. But it was like the start of people, like just somebody on Twitter being able to cancel somebody. That was whenever I really first started noticing that. And it's like the same thing in it's kind of across the board. Like you can just do that with any group. You could do it with our show. You could do it with entertainment anywhere. Like if you are loud enough and if you're offended enough, quotations, right? They're not really offended. They just want to take down their target. Like Gina Carano, that happened recently. There's like I'm going to give it maybe 1,000 people on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
That really, really hate Gina Carano because she's vaguely right-leaning or whatever. And
I got this, by the way.
Hey, man, I missed out. I didn't get mine. I couldn't find one.
Guess how much? Well, no.
How
Not
much you pay for that?
I really expected this to be bigger when I ordered it. It is like 50 something, but I'm like, whatever. I don't know.
Oh, dang.
I just was like, I kind of want one.
I'm sure that thing is like $8 now. How much is that worth? Probably way more than that. Actually, I lowballed that.
I was thinking it would be something in a few years once they're fully out of print or whatever.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it was
yeah.
It's like if you're a minority, a small group of people that are loud enough, you can get the attention of these huge corporations and they'll take you seriously. So it's like you can get somebody canceled if you say, "Oh, this person is offending me in some way," and it's offending some group on behalf of them. I'm going to say that you should take her down, or whoever, or this show, or this organization, or something like that. I don't know why our society is like this, why they validate it, and it's like these corporations. All they have to do is just don't listen. Like they don't listen to a lot of people, but for some reason they listen to these people, and all they got to do is just don't listen to them and keep moving forward, and then make your own decisions. You don't got to make these. I think it's really just because there's people that are just very loud, and for some reason corporations think that Twitter is reality when it is not reality. Twitter is hyper reality. It's like the playground where you're just talking shit to each other all day, every day, nothing but that. And then, yeah, you got your little groups of people where you're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, but also fuck you over there. You know, it's not reality. That's not how people actually act. You go outside and meet any of these people that are on Twitter, they're not going to act that way in real life. And if they do, I have seen people that do act that way. But it's few and far between in reality. And
you forget how, like, I would say most people are not even on Twitter. It's like the percentage of people that on Twitter are very, very loud. Like most people on Twitter, right? Like normal people. But then you think of like even the normaler people, you know, like the truck drivers, I don't know, the busy moms, whatever. Those are the only two groups of people I can think of that are not on Twitter.
They're on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube's huge with just so many different like normies all over the place. But like Twitter, yeah, you're right. The percentage of people that are on Twitter worldwide is so small, but for some reason corporations, and it's like whenever I'm seeing the government talk about tweets, it is the dumbest thing. Like, why are you're talking about literally a message on a message board on the internet? It sounds ridiculous whenever a congressman is like saying, "Oh, what did you say in that tweet? Did you take down that tweet? Did you say this thing in this other tweet?" Like, just never talk about tweets ever. It doesn't matter. It's not reality. It's ridiculous that you're even talking about it right now.
Tweets have become way too important. It's like people view them, and by people, I mean the idiots. I mean, like, yeah, right. Government, the left, like, they're tweets. They're not mini press releases. But when you have celebrities like Chrissy Teigen, thank God she's off, R.I.P. from Twitter.
That's what I'm going to call it now, Tweeter.
Like, she would treat it like every tweet is a press release, and every tweet gets to be its own article. And it's just, way too important to too many people. And that's the thing is, like, Twitter's become so important that careers have been canceled over it, jobs have been lost over it, and it's like, who decided that this was so important? You wouldn't be like, what about this snap you sent, or what about this TikTok?
Yeah, exactly.
About Twitter, which is like,
It's insane how much importance has been put on Twitter as part of our society. Like, we can put Twitter away, and I think our whole entire world would be better for it. We still have other ways to communicate. Twitter is not the end all be all of human communication on the internet. Like, it can go away. It's at least I think the way that it is created, and I don't know, just the way it's built, it like fosters that kind of interaction. Because even I see it in myself whenever I'm on Twitter and I'm talking, like, I'll put something out and then somebody's replying and people are positive, and if you say like one thing that is against me, I don't have time to like berate and have like a little argument with some people that are. I immediately just go, okay, well, you're done, I'm done. I trash you and get out of here, and then I'll talk to the people that I like. So it like creates your little spheres. You go, okay, I just like left-leaning thought, so I'm going to think about that, and that's all I'm going to hear. And if anybody says anything even close to maybe even just questioning one aspect of what I believe, I'm going to throw them away, because there's so many people that I could be talking to. I don't have time to talk to this person. So I think it's just a negative way for humans to connect and like conversate, and it's just it doesn't make good conversation.
And you think, I don't want to do what the left does. Like, I don't want to be creating my own echo chamber.
Right.
It's open to as many people and as many conversations as possible. But then I just find myself, I'm like, man, it seems like the people that find me specifically don't want a conversation. It's like I've been using the block button a lot more liberally lately.
I never used it. I didn't use it for like 5 years.
I was like,
look,
up.
I'm never going to use block. I'm better than that. I'm just going to let everybody reply.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I was just like, I'm sick of you. Like, no, you're gone. You're gone. Just because I just don't have time for it. And like I said, like, the whole thing is built around having bad interactions with people and like making your own little square of people that you agree with and agree with you. So it's like, I can't help but do that if I want to be sane and not constantly on my phone trying to argue with people and change their mind. Because you really can't. You can't on Twitter. There's no way.
Right. It's like when you listen to a long form like podcast or something, like that's when you can start
conversation.
But nothing in 140 characters. It's like it's kind of built for jokes. It's built for like clippy news, and it's like
quick hits.
It's like a love-hate with Twitter, because I do go on there for news. And like I know the trending topics are sometimes bought and paid for, and it's very skewed. And
I've stopped even going over to explore like the trending area, because it's all garbage. It's all just like they set that stuff up.
You're like, I'm done exploring.
I'll just go on my timeline. That's it.
So it seems like really shitty that sounds like just a few people started to just go after the show, like individuals, right? Like, can you recall like what exactly people were first offended by or had a problem with, or was it just like over time? The more you guys would maybe be pro-Trump, or
the first one really was the Carlos Maza. That was like the only thing that took us down on YouTube. But I mean, we have people that are against our show, obviously, because they're left or whatever. They think Steven's a jerk or whatever reason. It's not huge. At least I don't get a whole lot of hate. I know Steven does, but people don't come over to me. But it was really just that one, and he had enough pull and enough people kind of co-signed and like retweeted and amplified it enough to where it caught the eye of big tech and just ran with there, and it was just like a steamroller and just kept going. And
so when did you guys get back on? Or because
I think it was like a year and a half later or something like that. But it took us a lot of time. Like, we had to do a lot of things to be like, look, guys, like we want to try and follow your rules, but your rules are so vague, it's hard to actually follow them. I started my channel. I have a channel. I uploaded a video, and they have this new feature, and it's called checks. So whenever you upload a video, it goes through and it like does a little check, and it checks if you have anything copyrighted or whatever, or that's against guidelines. Well, it says, yes, found one.
But it doesn't tell you.
It doesn't tell you where. It doesn't tell you what it is, what it might be. Like, if you want people to follow your rules, make them clearer and give them, like, if I could upload a video and it was like, hey, I found that you said fuck in the first, 25 seconds or the first minute. I'd be like, okay, next video I won't. I'll I'll do that. And I'll wait for that till later in the video or whatever. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just see that and go, okay, well, I'm going to decide not to do that. But they make it so vague. They're just like, we found something that might be against advertiser, friendliness. So we're not going to let you have ads. I'm like, well, like, educate me. Let me know what it is. And that's the same thing on the big scale with our channels. Like, we did the same thing. It's like, we're trying to follow your rules. It's difficult because they're very vague. So we had to kind of like guess and do some stuff and then be like, hey, is this good? No, okay, is this good? I don't know all the details because I wasn't involved in that part. But we did eventually get monetization back. Not anymore, but that's a different story.
And then most recently, how was it lost?
I think, what was it? I think we did something on COVID, some vaccine related, and it was a no spot. So then we got a strike for it, and it took down our channel. So,
was that like the first strike, or was it just? Yeah, I haven't.
And that one, I think it was the first strike after a warning. We got a warning for something that was not the same, like not in the same vein, but it was just a warning on your channel. So the thing is, like, any channel, if you're in the partner program, you get a warning, then you get a strike, second strike, third strike, you're gone. Wow. So we were on our first strike and for there. So
it's really frustrating because
it's so frustrating.
And you're like, and you know what? They keep it vague that's deliberate because it's like, what like words, what curse words you can't say on radio. That's very clear,
right.
And
the FCC, that's like clear guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, so no, they keep it vague so that they can
weasel out and be like, oh yeah, subjective, right? They'll have somebody check it and go, well, based on whoever checks that day, you can get a different answer. You can have somebody check, or you can send the same video to review and it'll get checked differently. Yeah. Just because the expert chooses to let you go or not let you go. So it's a weird system. It doesn't seem like a very good system. I always think about it this way, though, is like YouTube is on the edge of video online platforms. So like there's nothing for them to like look to for guidance. They are making it up literally as they go on because they are in the very front, and they're messing it up a whole lot, which is like, on one hand you go, okay, I understand you're trying, you're doing a lot of stuff. Sometimes they do good stuff, sometimes they do bad stuff, but it seems to always lean in a certain direction. Yeah, that's the problem.
They don't seem to truly value being neutral.
Right. They say they do, but they don't really. And I do see that some left-leaning channels get taken down too for like ridiculously stupid reasons. So I mean, they do fuck up in different on both sides, but it seems to be like a lot of it is kind of focused over there. And they're in Silicon Valley, right? So they're all going to already have that mindset. They may not think that they're biased, but they are biased. Like they do the same thing to us. They say everybody is biased in your own ways, but they don't really mean themselves.
No, except
they are biased. Yeah. Just in the way that they build their rules, they're going to be biased towards how they think, how they view the world.
Of course. And then so it's like, do we have to wait for like a conservative YouTube? It sucks because like you don't want to split, just like with the purge, right? And a lot of people still never got back on Twitter. I'll just use that as an example. And then okay, yeah, Parler was a thing. Okay, but it wasn't as user friendly. And then they were they got 86th, and then there's locals. There's so many, and I feel like the end result is like people have been really diffused out, and ultimately people have never been able to get back all those followers.
Yeah, you get dispersed all over the place. I think that's one reason why we need to stay in the large places, even though they kind of suck. Like Twitter sucks, but it also is pretty cool. Like I have the same thing like you said earlier. It's like I have a love-hate with Twitter. I've connected with a lot of cool people. Like that's probably why we're talking right now is because of Twitter. Because I've talked to
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Twitter. But like I've talked to Jeremy at the Quartering, and that's how I was on his stream and you were on his stream, and that's how we connected. So there's like positives with it, but there's also a lot of negatives with it. And I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, will it take a conservative YouTube for
right
out?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. because we do get, it's hard to build up another competitor to YouTube because they're so far advanced. They're like 10 years advanced from anything that's trying to build back up. So if you're building back up, you're literally going back in time technology wise and trying to tell everybody, hey, just wait 10 years and you'll be like YouTube. It's hard. It's a convenience thing. It's like, oh, why go over to BitChute whenever I could just go to YouTube and the YouTube search engine actually works, you know?
Yeah. It's like
and
Rumble.
It's like,
that one guy is it's like Rumble. I'm like, okay, it's Dan Bongino and
mm-hmm. One place is Odyssey. It seems to be a pretty good. It's very small user base at the moment, but the user interface is really nice. It's smooth. It might be because there's not a lot of users, but it's pretty smooth. The search engine actually works, and you can mirror your uploads from YouTube. So you can.
Okay.
I have a Odyssey, and you just upload to YouTube, and it uploads over there automatically. So I think that's one of the best ways to do it because you don't want to have to constantly think of a different platform if you're on one platform already. So having that kind of crossover and being like, I'm just going to continue to be on YouTube, upload there, but then not even think about this other platform, and it'll just build up as it goes. And then whenever it builds up big enough, then you can move over there and really do just exclusively over there. So that's what we need if we want like another alternative platform. It's really hard to compete with huge, Google. It's like the largest company of all time.
And they've had a big head start, right? And YouTube they've been going since what, like 2006 or something?
Yeah, it's
maybe.
crazy.
So yeah, it's like we're all learning. And it's like my Instagram got nuked like a month ago.
Really?
And I was so annoyed because I finally got up to like 13.5 thousand. I can swipe
nice.
up. The world was my oyster. And then I think I just posted, some kind of jab thing in my stories. It wasn't even what I wrote. It was a video that like someone, because you always get people in your DMs sending you videos. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was like, some scientist,
Yeah.
spitting truths, and you just share that, and it's like,
you can't talk about truths anymore.
No warning at all.
There's the truth, and then there's big tech's allowed truth is what you can talk about.
Yeah, and it's just so frustrating. So, oh well. It's interesting. So is Ladder with Crowder like your first kind of like big producing type job, or how did they find you?
So I was a fan. I was a fan of the show. I watched the show. I was a mug clubber. And one day back in the day, they just did, they were doing these things way back then, a golden ticket thing where they would just be like, hey, if you're a fan, if you watch a show, we need, somebody that can do Photoshop or somebody that can edit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, send in your resume. So I was like, I could do that kind of stuff because I did that stuff just on my own for fun. And I sent it in, and I happened to be close enough to their office. I think that's what got me the job because I was pretty close. And they were like, oh, we don't have to fly anybody out. Nice. So I just went over there and did a week of like internship. And they were like, all right, cool. We'll let you know. And then a few months later, they needed some more help. And then I just stayed on for a while and then got hired. And the rest is history.
Wow, that sounds like the dream job scenario.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's been pretty cool. It's been pretty awesome.
Do you guys all hang out like after because the show's in the morning? So do you like spend the day together? Do you have like bro nights?
We do work. We have work. We're getting ready for the next show or pre-taping like commercials or stuff like that, or setting up for like a change my mind kind of thing, like super videos. But yeah, we do have, sometimes we hang out. We watch movies over here. We have a big projector in the office. We roll that down. We watched the Justice League, 4-hour-long Justice League the other week whenever it came out, so that was pretty fun.
My fans will be upset if I don't ask how Dave Landau is fitting in with everybody because I have Compound Media. I have a lot of Compound Media fans. And they were all like, they definitely had some feelings. When
I heard that. I heard,
but at the same time, like I do understand because nothing is forever, and you know what I mean. Like there's a lot of factors that go into it, and again, like no one can really know what's right for him but him. So I think just people get attached, and
yeah, it's understandable. I mean, it happens like whenever people leave our show, people are always like, "What's going on? Like, why are they gone? Like, where can they come back?" And it's like, you know, sometimes people just leave. People move on with their life, and it's a change. I don't know really what all went into the switch over there, but yeah, we're loving Dave. Dave's a freaking awesome dude. He's very funny.
He's so funny. He's
Very
so
funny.
dry and like just
Yeah.
his timing is so good because he'll just like he'll slip something in quietly.
Yeah, just kind of in the background. He's like, he doesn't even need to be on camera or nothing. He's just like, I'll just say something over here. But yeah, so his humor slides in really well. It's a good contrast to like Steven's humor and what we do on the show. So it's pretty good. I like Dave a lot.
Do you guys feel like, and of course I can't remember the name of like the other people that sit next to you, but is there a feeling like, okay, if you guys have something funny to say, like, oh, should you not jump in? Because to me it feels like the focus is more like Dave and Steven, but I could be wrong.
Well, sometimes, yeah, if we have something we can scoot in there and say, it's Steven runs at like a mile a minute, so it's hard to sometimes jump in. So most of the time I kind of sit back, and then every once in a while if I have something to say, I'm like, I'll jump in. But yeah, it's very open, kind of like anybody in the room can say, you can jump into the show and say something. If you have something funny or like insightful to say, you can say it. And Steven's very open about that. But yeah, it is very like Steven has, you know, he has what he wants to say, so we all have to kind of like go off of that. You know, if he's got a very specific segment thing he wants to talk about, then we kind of orbit around that kind of idea. And if we have something specific, we jump in, jump out, and then keep it mostly conversational, but we don't want to talk over each other. So that's how we roll in our studio.
Is it ever like, oh, like you'll, you know, maybe one day like you're like, you really want to talk about this thing, like how much room is there for like topics that you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like when we get out of the show, we have the rest of the day. We're working on the next show, kind of like what's trending, what do we want to talk about, and it's very open to like, if you got something and you're passionate about it and you want to write up like a quick like, hey, this is what could be, this is a story that I like. Here's how we can kind of like frame it. And I'm pretty passionate about it. And if he thinks it's pretty cool, then we'll put it in. He's very open to that kind of collaboration. It's not like a dictatorship. It's not like we're going to talk about these things and that's it, and we're not going to add anything. But there's a lot of times where he's like, okay, let's cut my idea and we'll add that idea. Like Dave will have, oh, I read this article. Let's drop that in. Oh, cool, awesome. Like let's actually flesh that out and like write jokes on it sometimes and stuff like that. It's a very collaborative show that way.
That's awesome. That sounds great. How did you meet and kind of get with the Friday Night Tights folks?
That was interesting because for some reason, I was watching what is it? Game of Thrones. I've completely thrown that show out of my mind because I hate it now. But I watched Game of Thrones. The season finale of that was just like the worst ever, and I just hated it, and I had to go and find somebody that also hated it. So I went on YouTube, and there was a live stream, and it was Nerdrotic, Gary, and they were doing a live stream and trashing it. And I was like, okay, I like this guy, so I was following him for a while, and then I would just be like in the chat every once in a while, like throw something in, and then they noticed. They're like, hey, what Quarter Black Garrett from the show, and it happened to be that Gary was a mug clubber. Because whenever the adpocalypse happened, he was like, oh, I want to support these guys because I don't like censorship. So he happened to already know about me. And then we just like back and forth. I'm like, hey, you want to do a live stream here? Like an interview kind of like right now. Where we jump. Whoa, where'd you go? It's just me now. It's my show. It's just the Quarter Black Garrett show. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for Chrissy to come back. I hope this is recording.
Hi, I'm still here.
Hey.
I'm just letting you take the stage.
Okay. I thought you were gone.
Perhaps I disconnected briefly.
Oh, okay. No, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm so sorry. This is something that happens just about once an episode, and I really am at my wit's end of what to do. I've restarted my computer before every recording. I take the internet cord out, plug it back in. I don't know. Technical difficulties. I know about technical difficulties. My channel is rife with them. Technically difficult. What I really love though is like the camaraderie between, like, we all have our like internet friends or whatever, but it just seems like whenever somebody's in trouble, there's certain people like, wow, like, like you and Jeremy and Gary. It's like, you kind of come, like, you have each other's backs. And when that shit was happening with Jeremy, people trying to take his whole channel down, like, over something crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be friends with a bunch of these kind of different guys, or even in different spheres. Like there's Quartering, and he does kind of like YouTube news and things that are kind of going around there, or other news topics. And then there's like Gary, where he does very pop culture related stuff, and Jeremy, they're doing a bunch of stuff over there at Geeks and Gamers. So it's cool to have like these different types of spheres. But then you're right, like if something goes down, we could jump in and back each other up.
Yeah, because it's like we're all...
You know who you should have on here? You should have Eric July. Have you had Eric July on?
Yes, he was so great. We talked.
Eric July is the best.
He's like the first nerd I think I've had. Well, probably not, but like the first like decidedly like kind of nerdy conversation. We talked for a long time about like comics, and how he just went on and on about like, this is like these remakes. They're doing a disservice to the characters, and why are they changing the races on certain ones? And he's great. I will definitely have him back per your suggestion.
But he's like one of those that are like in my spheres. Oh, I'm gonna get my Mogwai here. Kind of in my sphere. Yeah, I have a little Mogwai lucky foot.
That is so disgusting. Ew, that's
what is that?
It's gross? Like toes hanging down.
Yeah, it's lucky. But yeah, he's like in the sphere. He's got his own thing, and it's funny because he's kind of connected because he does stuff with BlazeTV.
Yeah.
But I don't know him from that. I know him from doing all these like live streams about pop culture stuff, because that's kind of what I'm into in my personal time. So I know him from there. But yeah, it's kind of cool having all these different connections.
He is great. Everybody is so great. It's so wild too, because it's like I have not met like most of you guys I have not met, and it just feels like this is my internet girlfriend in Canada, but we're really close. We have each other's back.
Yeah,
we're friends. I swear.
Distance.
Have you ever smoked?
Smoked
cigarettes?
Yes. Not like consistently. The first time I actually smoked a cigarette was for a sketch for this show. For Loud with Crowder. That
if you're trying to quit, Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists.
Well, then in fact, I smoke all the time, every day. Then I really need this.
I've tried each and every one of these flavors. They're all delicious. None of them taste like you're chewing on a cigarette. There's 4 milligrams of nicotine in each of these gums. Wintergreen, pomegranate, cinnamon, and I also have a cherry ice lozenge.
Pomegranate. I love pomegranate.
It's good. Then no seeds. And these products were researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. And each and every flavor tastes great. It's convenient, discreet. These products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym. So if you know somebody who's a smoker and you're sick of kissing a chimney breath, maybe slip a little Lucy into their back pocket. It's 2021. It's time to get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. Subscription comes to your house every month. So go to lucy.co and use promo code CMP to get 20% off all products. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. This product contains nicotine derived from tobacco, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. But go to lucy.co and use promo code CMP at checkout. Wow.
I'd like to say that was masterful. That was just the best segue. Oh, like top notch.
You were like, I thought we were going to go into talking about smoking. It's, I'm trying to do these organic reads. It's hard, but
I think it was great.
Thank you.
I think it was great.
Yeah, it's a good dismount. Yeah.
Stuck the landing.
This is interesting. So I don't know. Do you feel like you bring a lot of your like work home with you? Like, I don't even know about your home. Do you have, I feel like you're married. You have a wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm married. I've got kids.
Oh, how
Yeah,
many?
I got 3. One
Oh
is
my
about to
God.
turn 10 next
Wow.
month. Oh no, shit! This month. Jeez, he's about to turn 10, and then I've got 2 little girls under that.
Oh my God. And they're
Yep,
younger or older?
younger.
You seem to see, maybe there's something wrong with me, but like I look at you and I'm like, you look too young to have 3 kids, but maybe I'm just like,
I started at 19, so
okay, that'll do it. Good for
that'll
you.
do it.
Now you're
I
like,
think about it, like when they get out, I'll still be, I can move around. I
yeah,
won't
you're a
be
dilt. You're
old.
a young dad. You're going to be like, throwing, I was going to say when you take them on college tours, like the cool, hot dad, but
Yeah,
like now
right. See, we're moving around.
college seems to be like not a, I don't know. It's kind of
Not even,
moving out
yeah,
of
it's not
fashion
really a
now.
thing anymore. It's not cool to be
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go to college and get indoctrinated.
Yeah, I'm going to cost my
Not good.
parents so much money for me to not graduate with any real skills, unless you're
Yeah,
like, I know I want to be a doctor or a nurse. I know I want to be an
right.
engineer.
If you got very specific like things you need a diploma for, then perfect university is good for you. But if you're kind of like, I don't know what I want to do,
Yeah, like
waste of time, waste of money.
were you a communications major? Like, did you think you were going to be doing
No,
this? Yeah.
no, I was an animation major. I was in game animation, and I was gonna
Yeah.
go in that field, and then it just happened to be at like the same time I got this job, and I was like, oh, I'll go do that, and then I just kind of went that way. But yeah, I was not doing any of that information stuff over here, so I didn't use any of that information. It sucks. It's paid for that. It's all gone.
There was a time where I thought I really wanted to like work for Pixar and be like, yeah, like an animator.
Right?
I would
Like,
see
cool.
like flip books of like Disney animation. I'd be like, oh, that's gonna be me. And then I went to college. I was like a studio art minor. I had like one bad class, and then I completely changed courses. Like it was.
Like, no, I'm out. I'm not doing it. It's too much.
It shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have been as easily derailed. Like it was an installation art course. I had to hang something from the ceiling. It fell. It broke a light, and then I got a C for the course. And I was like,
Oh,
Chrissie Mayr does not get a C in art. And then I was. Then
you
I
just said that was part of it. You were like, that is part of my art. This is the
exactly.
effect. This is the effect of gravity.
Yeah, be like, behold, entropy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really should have, but instead I changed minors to women's studies. Ugh. So,
Oh, the dreaded women's studies.
dreaded.
Is it? Do you find it useful though? Like right now, knowing what they're studying and kind of knowing that
Actually,
mindset.
yes, because I can speak from the point of view of someone who was a brainwashed feminist, and it's taken me like 10 years to grow out of that and like really like knock around in life enough to know that that's like not the way to happiness. Like that's not the way to happiness. Even if you never like marry a dude or want to get paired up, it's just it's not the right mindset.
Yeah. Do you find it like you learn actually useful things in there, and it was like mostly a bunch of garbage, but there was some like nuggets in there?
I think it was, looking back, I think it was like mostly they were really just trying to make it a minor. Like I think it was my courses were like ecofeminism, which basically teaches you that the destruction of the planet is the direct cause of like men and patriarchy. Like basically it's dudes' faults. And I was like, oof. And one was like maybe women writers, like women authors, like a women's history course. But like, it sucks. Like you should be able to learn all of it. But it's so you can.
I could see somebody. I could see somebody taking a class like women's author, like women's writing history, like genuinely just wanting to know about that. Like I'd like to know about stuff like that. But you're not going to go in and just get information. You're going to go in with like, and then get agenda and all kinds of stuff like that.
And think of the kind of professor that's teaching that course. It's
that's
like
they're
fired up, you know?
That is their life. Like their life is this specific.
They're bringing in
course.
Their cats. Like, yeah. They're fucking
like this is Becky. This is Susu.
So, right. My original question would be like, if you have kind of a stressful day at the show, do you find like you bring that home with you? Do you have a way to kind of like shake it off, or do you, is your wife kind of like understanding?
My wife's pretty understanding. She's very understanding about how it can be very stressful in times. Like sometimes it can be like a change my mind, or if we're doing like a super video where we're going behind enemy lines kind of thing. Like when we went and did Chaz, drove all the way over there and back. She was very understanding about that. But I'm pretty chill, so I don't let a lot of things like come home with me. Whenever I get home, I'm like, hey, just we're hanging out here, me and the kids, or I'm playing a game or something like that. So yeah, I don't let that stuff kind of bother me whenever I get off.
Well, look at you. You're just
yeah. I don't know. That's
that's good. It's good. Like some people, it's hard to like,
unwind. I understand. It's like you start like thinking about. You're like, I'm like, because you can think like we are on like a cultural like battleground, basically, like common sense people that are just like, hey, let's just all be civil to each other, like even if you're left, right, center, wherever, like let's just be civil. And then there's these crazy barbarians that are just like, if you disagree with me in any way,
nonstop. Yeah. And like I have to remind myself, like, yeah, there's a lot of, and I used to think, oh, the people that are not sticking up for themselves, the people that are not fighting back are pussies. They're just, they're afraid. And now I've kind of like, after like a year, I'm like, no, like a lot of people could just really, they don't want to lose their jobs over it. To them, it's really not worth, explaining their stance on the jab or explaining why they like Trump. It's like, it's not worth them being like ostracized from their small work community. So that's what reminds me, like, yeah, I feel like I have to kind of like really lean into it as hard as I can, because like so many people,
they can't
lose their jobs over it.
I mean, a lot of people, they just got stuff to do. Like that's why the crazy barbarians have an advantage, because they don't have jobs. they don't have like obligations and shit to do during the day. And like a lot of people that are just regular people that don't hate people, that are just regular Joes, they have jobs. They can't just throw those jobs away for their opinions. So they go, okay, I'm just gonna look down, do my job, clock out, go home, drink a beer. So yeah, it is like the people that are on the edge, like you and our show and the people that I know, it's like, yeah, you got to kind of do that because you're in that position that not a lot of people are in that, so you got to work for them too.
And then there's like, oh, the woke foot soldiers. Yeah, maybe they're probably
they're legion. They're everywhere.
Yeah. And that could have been me. Like if I was college age right now, like I was right there. I was like primed to probably be Antifa. Like, well, no, my parents aren't rich, so it's like, I mean, it's tricky because it's like, no job,
funding. You need
funding and time.
Yeah, if you can't pay for your own car, you can't be Antifa, because everything's got to be given to you so you can have the ability to go out and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's just especially now with all these like freaking Ben and Jerry's. I feel like I made a tweet about
right. I just saw that
woke ice cream flavors like months ago.
Yeah, we saw it, and one of our guys, Choi, he put the article out and was like, hey, let's do a list of woke ice cream flavors, and we were like, yeah, we already did it, because they did that already. It's like they're recycling their own dumb ideas.
It's crazy. And it's like what Jeremy said, I think the other day he talked about it, but it's like, this is not for the people that you're pandering to. Like you're pandering to the guilty whites who can spend $7 on ice cream.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is on shoes. Cause it's like, oh, I don't actually have to like be nice to my neighbor because I just bought a pair of Nikes and
I can feel good about myself. I'm doing something for the minorities or whatever, whatever group it is. I feel like I'm doing something for them, even though you're really not doing anything.
Yeah. Especially whatever like minority child, sewed it together.
Right. Yeah. You don't take into account all the other stuff that happened before that.
Yeah. Like the slave labor. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Sometimes you just need to like take breaks and such, but I don't know. It's interesting. I just started, God, what's it called? I think it's called Noom. It's this like app. It's this app where you like put your food into it. And I'm like, oh, not this again. Cause I'm trying to like get svelte. Cause the thing is, it's like when the total like quarantine is over or whatever the lockdown's like, if I don't emerge with somewhat of a better body, I'm gonna feel like this was a wasted time. You know what I mean? Like if someone
you want to get bigger because you're just like, I'm just inside, I'm just eating, I've got nothing else to do, I guess I'll just eat.
Can you imagine if like last year somebody told you, look, you're gonna have a year, you're gonna have over a year, you're gonna have like 15 months. Holy crap, the things I would have embarked on.
You could learn learn a new language.
Pilot license, new language. It's like
all kinds of stuff.
2 weeks and then a month, and then it was just like stretched out. And so I don't know. I feel tricked.
You're in you're East Coast, right? So you're what, New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're locked down. My friend was living in New York and he moved out the week the lockdown hit. So like he was able to get out and move back to Texas. I was like, ooh.
Are you from Texas?
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. So you guys have just been flying through this.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. We got locked down pretty hard for maybe a month. And then it relaxed and it was like, okay, just the mask mandate. And stores can be like half capacity. But yeah, we haven't been quite as bad as some other places have been, but not as open and free as some other places like Florida. So we're kind of
Florida's got big energy for real right now.
I know. Like I don't know how they do it. I mean, their state is shaped like a dick, so it helps.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. And I'll like walk into, because I know I can go into Dunkin' Donuts and not wear a mask and like be like, I'll like creep in. And I'll just like
figure out the stores you can do that in.
Yeah, I feel like I order like the episode of Seinfeld where it was like the soup Nazi. Like that's me in a store without a mask. I'm like small crab bisque, and then I like move.
Just like don't acknowledge that I'm here.
Yeah, I just try to like not make any sudden movements. Yeah. Just try to not. Oh, be like, oh yeah, hi, just latte, thanks. And they don't say anything because they don't care because they work at Dunkin' Donuts.
Like I'm just getting paid like minimum wage. I can't care that much.
Yeah, sometimes I want to like there's like a little shield hanging from the ceiling. Sometimes I just want to like put it to the side and be like,
just get it around there.
Yeah, just get it around. Like get a straw and just be like,
like a bendy straw. Bend the straw around.
Yeah, and then be like, please leave, ma'am.
What are you doing?
But yeah. I don't know. Are you guys feeling on the show overall hopeful? Overall, you feel like you're dealing with the censorship as best you can?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of support has come in from mug clubbers, and we have our new shop. Our shop did get... Oh.
Do you know, I just ordered bobbleheads from your shop. Like, I got this email about... It was like the Trump hugging a flag bobblehead. And I was like, I really want one of these.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing is our shop got taken down by Shopify for no reason. Like it just was gone one day, just gone. We couldn't have a shop anymore. So now we've got a bunch of like surplus of shirts that we can't sell that we have to like try and figure out how to get on our new shop. But we do have a new shop, crowdershop.com.
Ooh.
And so we're up there. A lot of people have been supporting us that way and through Mug Club. So I think we're pretty good. It just sucks, you know. It's you can be making that extra money on YouTube. Since we have those other avenues, we don't need to. It's just like we don't get to do extra stuff or hire more people because of that. So you have to kind of, you know, figure out how you're going to navigate these troubled waters we're in right now. But it's overall pretty hopeful. We're still doing our thing, and we'll probably do our thing even if everything bans us. We'll still be doing it.
Live from the gulag. Yeah.
Yeah, right. With our chains.
Do you feel like, you know, do you have like a list of like, okay, things you can't say, like names you can't say? Like, are you like cognizant?
Not really. I mean, we have some things that we don't like to punch down. So there's some channels that we used to talk about, and we've passed them like subscriber wise, and we feel like we've been larger. So we don't want to do that. We don't want to punch down to channels that are smaller. So there's a lot of people out there that we don't go after just because of that. And there are like those hot button issues that you have to kind of watch. There's like, you know, the whole COVID thing. There's the George Floyd thing. There's stuff like that we still talk about, but we still have to be kind of cognizant to not go we could just go all over the place and talk shit like as if we were real people. just having a conversation. But we're on a show that a lot of people are seeing, so we have to still kind of walk that line of trying to stay in with guidelines. But that's what we've developed a method for that. So we do most of the show in front of the paywall on YouTube, and then we go piss off YouTube and go over to Mug Club where it's just our boys, boys and girls over there.
And that's where you
that's where kind of we take the loosen the tie, do more
Unzip
fun
your
stuff
pants.
over there.
Yeah.
Take them off completely.
I love it.
Do fun stuff.
Quarter Black Garrett, where else can people find you, follow you, check out your stuff?
So Quarter Black Garrett, spelled just like this on the screen with the 1 and the 4. On YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. I do game stuff. I'm live stream gaming. I've been uploading some videos here and there about topics that I'm passionate about. You can also find me on Fridays on Friday Night Tights on Nerdrotic's channel and Twitter. I'm also on Minds and Odyssey. The alternatives. I'm pretty much on every alternative as well, so you can probably find me there.
So you're a gamer, huh? Do you ever play Untitled Goose Game?
No, but my son does.
Oh, okay. All right. It's really awesome. You can hug.
It is a fun game. People. I like it. You
can steal glasses.
Yeah. Be very mischievous.
Yes, you can knock over water cans. Big fan of that. Big fan of I watch my boyfriend's son play Cupheads a lot. That's like a hard game cartoon.
It's very hard.
Apparently, there's a theory that like the two Cuphead guys are really just they're moonshiners, and that's why they're in this like land of
and it's all kind of like
underground gambling and like like I don't know, horrors and stuff.
I like that. I like it.
It's a cartoon, and then Pokemon Go. That's really just in my phone. That's not really a real gamer game.
It's a game. It's a game.
I do games.
You're a gamer.
You're doing games.
You're a gamer.
Thanks. I'm on my way. Garrett, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Awesome to talk to you. Hopefully I'll do another thing with you. Yeah, like, what's it called? Nerdrotic.
Friday Night Tights.
Friday Night Tights.
On Fridays.
Tune in every Friday.
Every Friday.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.